Who would win this hypothetical battle? No gimmicks. Pool versus Sawyer. This is a Reddit post that got over 150 upvotes on Reddit, and it got me thinking, between two of Ash's strongest as well as smartest rivals, which of the two will come out on top in a battle? Well, today we're going to get to the bottom of that question, as I'm going to break down everything both trainers have in their arsenals, skills, strengths, weaknesses and accomplishments, all to help us come to a final decision of which of these two trainers would win this Sinnoh vs Kalos matchup. So, let's get to it. Starting us off, we have Mr. Standby for Battle, Pool. Pool is known amongst the Pokemon community as a genius trainer who possesses several notable strengths in battle. He highly excels at utilizing complicated strategies in battle, which is his bread and butter. Pool has a remarkable ability to imitate and understand his opponent's battle styles, even those of champion level opponents. Examples of this would be that he was able to imitate Lance, Cynthia and Steven's battle styles in his practice match versus Ash. This ability enables him to quickly grasp the understanding of their strategies and incorporate them into his own arsenal. In addition, Pool never underestimates his opponents. He thoroughly studies them inside out, familiarizing himself with their strengths, weaknesses and preferred battle techniques, regardless of the skill gap between them. This vast amount of knowledge allows him to formulate effective strategies against them. Pool is also able to use universal strategies not based on his opponent's Pokemon, but based on what his Pokemon are capable of doing to be able to gain the advantage. Furthermore, Pool is adept at utilizing support moves to his advantage. He strategically employs strats like light screens, status conditions and abilities to set up favorable conditions for his team to win. Now, one of Pool's distinctive traits is his ability to be able to adapt and be unorthodox in his fighting style by emulating Ash's approach to combat. Because of that, he introduces unconventional tactics that catch the opponents off guard. An example of this is being able to use Counter Shield, a strategy that is solely made by Ash and Dawn. This unpredictability gives him the further edge in battles. Another strength that Pool has is that he understands the importance of control, calmness, dominance and confidence in battle. When faced with something unexpected, he does not crumble under pressure. I mean, this man literally stares into huge explosions, like blood thinks he's him. Pool understands the value of using moves that disrupt opponents' strategies, so that he can be able to execute his own without failure. An example of this is when he used Smog, an inflict status effect move. Lastly, one of Pool's greatest strengths is his experience. Pool has had experience in multiple different Pokemon leagues and regions, gaining and seeing trainers battle all over the world, some of those who were probably even better than Sawyer. However, even a genius like Pool carries flaws in his entree. One of his primary weaknesses is his heavy reliance on knowing his opponent's battle style. Pool excels when he can imitate and understand his opponent's strategies, but if he's unfamiliar with their style, it can put him at a disadvantage. This dependence on prior knowledge limits his ability to adapt to new opponents or unpredictable situations. Good examples of trainers like this is Ash Ketchum and Leon. Another weakness of Pool is his lack of overwhelming strength in his Pokemon's lineup, but Pool does in fact compensate for this by utilizing his unique battle style and strategies. Now, as Pool battles, we tend to see that his battle patterns and preferences become more apparent during a battle, allowing opponents to be able to easily predict his moves. This predictability can be exploited by opponents to be able to counter his strategies and gain an upper hand. I would say that Pool's greatest weakness is that he could be wide open to his opponent's Pokemon's own emotions and determination to win. If his opponents can tap into their Pokemon's motivation or unique strategies such as Barry using Empoleon to counter Pool's Ursaring's Focus Blast, it can indeed catch Pool off guard and disrupt his plans. Pool has some of the best accomplishments in the Pokemon world, such as beating at least 32 gym leaders from Kanto, Johto, Hoenn and Sinnoh, as well as also competing in the Kanto, Johto, Hoenn and Sinnoh leagues, with his highest placing spot being the top 8 in the Sinnoh League, losing to Ash Ketchum. After his loss against Ash, he had a change of heart as well as view on Pokemon. This was evident in the fact that he was asked to become a gym leader. Lastly, in Pokemon Journeys, upon Paul's return, Ash asks him why he chose not to participate in the World Championships, implying that Ash perceives Paul as capable and strong enough to compete at a world level. Now it's time for XP lover, the boy Sawyer. Sawyer is known for his analytical and strategic approach to Pokemon battles. He carefully studies his opponents and their Pokemon, analyzing their moves and tendencies. This allows him to make informed decisions during battles and adapt his strategies to counter his opponents effectively. Going off this strength, Sawyer's ability to quickly study and learn his opponents is something we've seen time and time again, as after any battle with Ash Ketchum or other trainers, he writes down notes in the aim of improving and rounding his battling skills. As a result of that, it helps him to know how to handle certain situations, due to the knowledge, or XP as he loves to say, gained from previous battles. Another one of Sawyer's best strengths is his potential. Sawyer is a very fast learner who is very open to new experiences. He doesn't mind losing if it allows him to improve in the long run. Because of that, it makes him a very dangerous trainer, and he's managed to quickly progress quicker than any normal trainer, hence his high potential. The fact that in his first region journey as a beginner, he was able to catch up to Ash, who's been doing this for some time now, defeat him, make it to the semi-finals of the Kalos League, and lastly go toe-to-toe with the same Ash, just goes to show how much potential this kid has, and is truly respectable. Just imagine, if he had been a trainer for as long as Ash has, then this guy would definitely be a champion by now. Due to Sawyer's open-minded approach to battling, it has allowed him to even begin to incorporate some of Ash's unorthodox strategies into his own battling style, going to show that even he knows there is no one-way route to how to battle, but seeing the good in every battle style and being well-rounded, having other options when it does come to battle. As much of a skilled and a high potential trainer as Sawyer is, he does in fact carry some major flaws in his palette. Even though Sawyer is careful and a smart battler, he can sometimes lose his calm in critical situations, causing him to make the wrong move and lose. One of Sawyer's weaknesses is his lack of experience compared to most trainers, due to him not having as many battles under his belt. There is still tons of unique, unorthodox and just smart strategies he's never seen before. And if it's something he's never seen, that's where Sawyer really struggles the most, resulting in a loss. A good example of this is when Sawyer saw Ash's Greninja use its final Water Shuriken attack. That huge attack was something he's never seen before. He's never been faced with something of that capacity, causing him to panic due to not knowing the unknown. If Sawyer is up against something he hasn't had the chance to study for or even prepare for, such as things that is not in his calculations, it breaks a hole in his strategy, causing him to fold, which I would say is his greatest weakness. Despite being a rookie, Sawyer has in fact achieved 2 great accolades on his journey, collecting all 8 badges of the Kalos region, as well as reaching the top 4 of the Kalos League in his first ever league attempt, which is certainly nothing to scoff at. Even Ash and Paul didn't do that on their first leagues, so big up to Sawyer. Alrighty, now with both trainers' strengths, weaknesses and accomplishments highlighted, it's time for what we've all been waiting for. Who truly comes out on top in this rival showdown, Paul or Sawyer? Just to clarify, as this post said, this battle will feature no gimmicks. This means that Sawyer won't have access to Mega Evolution. Let's get it. Paul and Sawyer both have similar styles when it comes to battling. They're both smart, careful, and use creative strategies to push the fight. However, what makes the difference in how I think this match plays out is the ability to adapt to the unexpected. What I mean by this is being able to keep calm and battle against something new and never seen before. And I'm sorry, but that's where Paul clearly takes this battle. If Paul and Sawyer were to battle in a random encounter, let's say Sinnoh for example, if Sawyer doesn't have enough time to analyze and study his opponent in full, it becomes a great disadvantage to him because he doesn't know what his opponent is capable of. Also, he doesn't have enough time to truly create a proper strategy to deal with how they battle, in this case Paul's battle style. Whereas on the other hand, Paul does not need time to prepare and create a strategy. He can just read an opponent's battle style simply by observing how they battle. So, in this instance, Sawyer would battle in a way that becomes easy and predictable to Paul, and from there, he can control the flow of the battle, control the pace of the battle, dominate the battle by bringing different strategies in like screens, toxic spikes, status conditions, you name it. All of this would just ultimately throw off Sawyer's guard, sending him into panic and beating him. Another factor that comes into play in my reasoning for Paul defeating Sawyer solely comes down to experience. Like we all know, Paul has competed in the Kanto, Johto, Hoenn and Sinnoh leagues. This means tons of trainers all over the regions to be battled, in which Paul would have gained knowledge, skills, wisdom and just witnessed all kinds of battling styles, whereas Sawyer has only battled in Kalos. Due to this, Paul already has a huge advantage over him, and we can even assume that he's most likely battled trainers the same level or even better than Sawyer, who as talented and hardworking as he is still a beginner who lacks that experience factor. Paul is also certainly world level, a trainer capable of competing in the Masters 8, but I don't know if I could say the same for Sawyer, being of this world level status. However, this isn't to take away anything from Sawyer and how this battle would go. Sawyer is still very strong and a smart trainer who wouldn't just head into this battle reckless, but use a strategy of his own, utilizing his Pokemon to the best of their ability, instead of relying on past knowledge of his opponent. It definitely wouldn't just be a walk in the park. Sawyer also does have a few tricks of his own up his sleeve that would allow him to push Paul to the paces and potentially give Paul a run for his money. This lies in his Pokemon's power and strategies of his own that Paul would need a bit of time to create a counter to. Okay, hypothetically, let's say Sawyer did have enough time to study Paul to a full extent like he did with Ash. Then yeah, this would be a very long day for Paul, because I promise you, Sawyer would certainly create a lethal game plan to deal with every single Paul move, strategy and counter. Paul would have to come up with something outside of the box, being unorthodox like Ash to be able to overcome the best Sawyer. Sawyer in his element. But if his best rival Ash Ketchum could do it, Paul can too. Because I want to include these odds in this video, let's just do it. In this battle, I do however strongly believe that say Sawyer did have access to Mega Evolution, it would drastically close the gap in one of the biggest deciders of this battle, and that's, like I said, experience. Because the power of Mega Evolution should not be underestimated. And if anyone knows his Pokemon best and how to use the gimmick to the best of his ability, it's Sawyer. Paul would struggle with taking down a Sawyer who has access to Mega Evolution, because his Pokemon just don't carry the huge power Sawyer's Mega Sceptile has. And a little controversial, if that battle was to happen, I would slightly, by a smidge of a hair, edge the battle over to Sawyer being the winner. But in conclusion, to the original topic, if Paul and Sawyer were to battle, no gimmick involved, it would be a fairly close battle, but Paul does in fact grab the W. How I would imagine this battle playing out in the anime would most likely be a 3-on-3, with Paul's team consisting of Drapion, Frostlass and his ace Electivire, and Sawyer's team consisting of Slacking, Aegislash and his ace Sceptile. With of course the final battle being an epic flashy battle between the aces Electivire and Sceptile. Having the chance to speculate and think about how potential matchups like Paul and Sawyer would have played out if they did feature in the anime is always a treat, and I had a ton of fun doing it. I would love to see what all of you in the community think about who gets crowned the winner in the end. So, who do you think wins today's battle? Paul or Sawyer? And what teams do you think they would use? Let me know in the comment section down below. Credits to WittyRing312 on Reddit for creating this post. As always, be sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for everything Pokemon anime related. Thank you for watching.